So I'm going to add a little bit of voice to this presentation on using AI to analyze social media in hopes that it helps you just a touch in figuring out how best to do this. There's some things that AI is really good at, right? It's good at looking at text. So it gives you keyword analysis and hashtag analysis. It's good at figuring out share of voice, i.e. how much people are talking about your brand as opposed to talking about other brands. It's pretty good at sentiment analysis. The more that the AI tool has been trained on sentiment analysis, the better it gets. When you're using ChatGPT, which is a general AI tool, check the sentiment because it can get a little funky. It can give you insights into the audience based on comments or publicly available information about who is responding. And it can give you an idea when you're doing competitor analysis of what your competitors' content and themes look like. And lastly, it can give you some ideas when you're facing a crisis. It can essentially game out possible answers or what the most likely response will be, and it can walk you through several variations on crisis control when you're trying to do that, and that's really, really helpful in many cases. So when you're using ChatGPT for audience analysis, you can ask questions like, what are the key concerns of our audience based on these comments? Or what type of language, and I don't mean like English or Spanish, right? But obviously, what is the content? What are the words that our most engaged users use? Most engaged users are that 20% of your audience that drives the 80% of conversation. This is mostly a suggestion for using ChatGPT to help you with our final project. You want to get the data from somewhere, and since you don't own either of these brands, you're going to have to get it through some sort of method that would be very similar to competitor analysis. You're essentially doing two competitor analysis and then pitting them against each other. So the tried and true method is using Python to scrape. Python is a coding language. You can write in Python, which is particularly good at scraping data. There are APIs that work with various social media platforms. For instance, there's something called Scraper API, there's Amplify Instagram API, and Instagram hashtag Scraper. All of these are things you can look up separately and just keep them in the back of your head, because at least two of these are decidedly paid for. And the free versions are less good than the paid versions. Although for this class, right, for your own final project, free is awesome. So there are some tools that are no-code scraping, right? And scraping, by the way, just in case you're not familiar with it, is just using some sort of program to pull up all the comments and pull up all the hashtags and put them in one place. So no code scraping means you don't have to know any code. Yay, I can't code. I don't know about you. Again, we have Amplify Instagram Scraper, we have Octoparse, and we have the Instant Data Scraper, which is a Chrome extension. The Chrome extension, I believe, is free. The other two charge, although they may have free trial periods, which would work for your final project. And then we have the tried and true method, which is manual comment input, which is exactly what it sounds like. You copy, you paste, you ask ChatGPT to take a look at it. And really, again, for our final project, this is fine and probably the easiest way to do it. I'm not so much interested in that you get everything right, period. Because There are professionally available tools that specifically are measurement tools that have AI baked into them. And I'll talk a little bit about those at the end, that you would use if you were doing this professionally. I want you to understand the concepts and the way that AI can help with social media analysis. And these are the tools I was talking about, or at least some of them. You have Right Tag, Brand 24, Talkwalker Alerts, Brandwatch Sprinkler, Hootsuite. And the last one is one I just became aware of, and I think it's the beginning of a new set of tools that specifically incorporates AI, that uses AI as its primary method of analyzing. Profit AI, it's spelled P, capital R. I got that wrong, OPHET, so PR, Offit AI. I encourage you to take a look at their webpage. I saw a demonstration, and it was really, really cool. And it was one of the places where I saw AI being used to game out crisis responses, to look and tell you what the best crisis response was most likely to be, what the most likely questions would be in the face of a crisis. It's also really good at helping you find influencers, to match influencers with your brand, as well as then measuring ROI and other things like that. It does great content analysis, so it does the content analysis and then tells you who is likely to pass that on. So one of the things it's good at is finding journalists who resonate with your particular message, and then giving you information about essentially how to write a pitch to those influencers. So I encourage you, take a look at Profit AI.